Buddy.
Morning, Rabbi.
Okay, we're continuing today. We're on Chavav Amud Aleph, 26A, 26B. Itzmar. The first word of the line is Itzmar. But just I want to make two comments connected to something about yesterday's class. What did you say?
Can you hear us?
Yosef, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very good. The first thing that we said is that the Gemara said yesterday, if a person makes a mistake and he does not mention Gevurat Geshamim B'tchiat HaMeitim, he doesn't mention Mashi Baruach Hamor Geshem, he has to repeat the Amidah, correct? That's what the Gemara said.
Yeah.
And if you remember, I made a comment yesterday. That's true. It's nice to see the snow by you, Yosef. We see the snow. Very nice. We
Yeah,
said,
right?
very nice. We said that it's true. It's only provided if your minhag is only to say, Mashi Baruach Hamor Geshem, meaning to say, let's explain. In the summertime, what is the minhag of, there are different communities. The Sfardim say Morid Hatol, correct?
Yeah.
Many Ashkenazim don't say anything in the summer. They go Rav Lo Shia, and they go straight to Machalka Chaim B'Chesed. They don't say Morid Hatol. The Sfardim have an advantage. What is the advantage? That if, when it comes the time to say Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, there's two possibilities for the Sfardim. Either they'll say the right thing, Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, or they'll say the wrong thing, Morid Hatol, because that's what they've been saying until now. But since they said something, they said Morid Hatol, they will not have to repeat the Amidah. However, the Ashkenazim who don't say anything in the summer, they don't say Morid Hatol in the summer. So when it comes to the time that they need to say Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, if they don't say the Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, what would be is they said nothing. They didn't put any insert. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. And if they didn't put any insert, they didn't say anything, then they would have to repeat the Amidah. So just I want to clarify that for everybody regarding what the Gemara says. If a person doesn't say Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, that it repeats Amidah, that would be provided that it's, let's say, this time of the year, you didn't say Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem, and you didn't say Morid Hatol. Is that clear? Ben, am I clear or not clear?
So at what point are you able to, let's say I go before the Brooklyn, before I say Baruch Atah Hashem, Abraham, right?
Mechayim Eitim. Right. If you catch yourself before that, then you go back, you'll say Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem.
Okay, but then
But after you finish Mechayim Eitim, if you said Morid Hatol by mistake, so technically you should be all right because you said something. You didn't mention something. But if you're Ashkenaz and you didn't say anything because you kept on what you were saying throughout the summer, which was nothing, you didn't put any insert into the bracha. So then, and now you're supposed to insert Mashi Baruch Hamor Geshem and you did not, then you have to repeat the Amidah from the beginning. So they have an advantage. They have an advantage. Tosfos and Ta'anit. If you remember, we learned Ta'anit. Tosfos and Ta'anit points this point out.
Rabbi, are we also live on YouTube?
We're live on YouTube also today. They heard that you
Wow.
were going to be on. Yosef, they heard that you would be on, so they put us on. They put it on YouTube. They want everyone to see a holy face.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you. Yeah, too kind. Your words are too kind.
Yeah, a lot of people are joining in. I'm joining them in right now. What do you want to say, Morris? Okay. Very, very good. The other thing, well, first I want to thank Ben and Morris and Nisan for all the help.
It's not recording.
What does it mean it's not recording?
Hearing it.
I can't tell you. I think we put Ariel put it. Ariel
It's being recorded. I can see it over here. It's recorded.
Ariel wanted to mute it on YouTube. He had a reason because he wanted it to be. Should it be?
So this is what we do. We put the word. That's it.
Okay, YouTube, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, we just put the word is- Right, you get the-
Well, how would that help? I don't know. Okay. Able to hear now, or not able to hear, or you're not able to hear?
We've been fine. You guys know.
I'm able to hear. We're able to hear.
Okay, very good. Okay, so now another point, what we want to say, Tosfos discusses the following idea. A guy, let's say it was Rosh Chodesh. This past week was Rosh Chodesh, right? And Rosh Chodesh was on Thursday. Everyone got to remember about Kiddush Levana. So Rosh Chodesh was Thursday. And if a person, what does a person be prayed mincha on Rosh Chodesh, and then he forgot to say Ya'aleh v'Yavo on Rosh Chodesh by mincha, right? So you have to repeat, right? The law is in general, if a person, I think we have a delay. Is that a delay? Yeah. I mean, when you want to mute it like you did before? No, because we hear ourselves talking. Yeah. So we're in a process. We're working things out. Everything takes a little time. You're a young married man too, right? It takes time to perfect your marriage, right? Everyone. Now we spoke about if a person. What's the law by Rosh Chodesh? If a person forgets Ya'aleh v'Yavo by Shachrit, he repeats the Amidah. If he forgets Ya'aleh v'Yavo by Mincha, he repeats the Amidah. But if by Arvit, if you forget Ya'aleh v'Yavo, you don't repeat the Amidah because they did not sanctify the new month at night. They only proclaimed Rosh Chodesh by day. Now, what happens if I forgot Ya'aleh v'Yavo by Mincha? Okay, very good. I forgot Ya'aleh v'Yavo by Mincha this past Thursday. If someone forgot Ya'aleh v'Yavo by Mincha, okay, so the law is he has to repeat the Amidah, but he. Right. If you caught yourself before you went the 3 steps back, you go back to Ritzay, and then you go straight. If as long as you catch yourself anywhere you catch, as long as you catch it, where'd you catch yourself, Ariel? Shalom, right? Ritzay, right. But even if you finish Baruch Hamasim Shalom, but since you say Al kind of Sar every day, so then you can still go back to Ritzay. Even if you say Liz Bracha and you're in the middle of Al kind of Sar, but you didn't finish you didn't say Yilei Ratzon, you didn't say the second Yilei Ratzon. You didn't take the 3 steps back, go back to Ritzay. Yes. I mean, that seems to be the. Now, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Akiva. Good morning, Shmuley. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. So the Tosfos brings the following question. It's a very fascinating question. If on Rosh Chodesh, a person, let's say last Thursday by Mincha, a person forgot Ya'aleh v'Yavo. So he's supposed to repeat the Amidah. But let's say he didn't know that he needs to repeat the Amidah, and it comes the evening Thursday night. Now Thursday night is no longer Rosh Chodesh. Oh, very good. Like this. Thank you very much. Thursday night, thank you. You can thank him. Thursday night is no longer Rosh Chodesh. Correct, Ben? You hear the case? Thursday night is no longer Rosh Chodesh. Would he repeat? Does he need to make up the Amidah that we said there's a concept, we said, we'll explain. We said if a guy missed Mincha entirely, then comes the next Arvit, you do say 2 Amidah, right? If a guy missed Mincha completely, right? If a guy missed Mincha yesterday, so last night by Arvit, he's supposed to say 2 Amidah. The first one for Arvit, and the second one is the makeup for the Mincha, right? That's what we learned yesterday. That's when you've missed the tefillah completely. But what about if the guy prayed, but he missed Ya'aleh v'Yavo? So now, if if let's say there's a 2-day Rosh Chodesh, so then definitely it would seem he would say this, there's no question he should make it up, because he should make it up. Why? Because the second night of Rosh Chodesh, he's saying a new Amidah, the makeup, and it's also Rosh Chodesh, and he's mentioning Yalav Yavo. But if let's say this past Thursday by Mincha, a person did not say Yalav Yavo, but he prayed Mincha, comes Thursday night, if you tell me, Rabbi, he did not fill his mitzvah because he didn't say Yalav Yavo, he needs to make up the Amidah. But what is the Amidah that you're going to say Thursday night? The second Amidah will be an Amidah that does not contain Arvid. But it does. But we always say that when you always make the two Amidah as the time that you are now. If Thursday night is no longer Rosh Chodesh, so the two Amidah, the two Shemona Esreis will not be Rosh Chodesh, will not contain Rosh Chodesh, because it can't contain, it's no longer Rosh Chodesh. So is there a purpose in him repeating, saying a second Amidah to make up for Rosh Chodesh that he missed if it's no longer Rosh Chodesh? And he's not mentioning Rosh Chodesh. You hear the question? So there's two opinions in Tosfot. One opinion says, we'll give Morris's opinion first. One opinion is what Tosfot says is, listen, it's no longer Rosh Chodesh. So, and you're not mentioning Rosh Chodesh in the Amidah. So you should, there's no purpose of, you're not gaining anything by mentioning the Amidah again. And you prayed, you just missed Rosh Chodesh. You got credit for praying, you missed Rosh Chodesh. So now you there's nothing you could do because you can't mention Rosh Chodesh again when it's after Rosh Chodesh. The other opinion of Tosfot says, if you did not mention Yalav Yavo in the Mincha, it's like you didn't daven at all. It's as if you didn't pray. It's as if you didn't pray, so you need to make another Amidah. It's true it's not Rosh Chodesh anymore. It's true it's not Rosh Chodesh. But even though it's not Rosh Chodesh, but you didn't pray Mincha. What do you mean you didn't pray, Rabbi? Rabbi, I prayed Mincha. Well, you didn't say Yalav Yavo. It's like you didn't pray, according to that opinion. And you would have had to have repeated that Amidah anyway, like Ben said. What'd you say? Okay, so there's two opinions of Tosfot, and in the Shulchan Aruch. So how do we go lahalacha? Right? A bit Morris wants to know how to go. So in Shulchan Aruch, it says the following: Simek Kuf Ches Siftet. Mike, you hear the case, Mike? Mike, is it clear?
Rabbi, the case is that the person, I didn't hear the beginning, but I'm guessing that the person forgot Ya'aleh V'Yavo in his mincha, and he realized after time, and now he has to catch up, and it's not Rosh Chodesh anymore. Does he repeat the Amidah during Arvit?
Exactly. And there's two opinions in the halacha, and so it's not clear which way to go. So the halacha says like this. This is what you should do is you should do the second tefillah as an adava. You do it as an adava. That means, what is an adava? That means like this. You make a t'nai. Because we have an allowance, right? The law is with tefillah. We'll see. To make up for the Yalav Yavo that you missed at mincha, we have an allowance. If I want to daven many times today, I could pray many times today, right? I prayed Shachrit right now. If I want to pray now another Amidah, I could do it technically as a gift. Because a person has the ability to pray many times, but there's certain laws. If you want to do another Amidah that you're not obligated to do, you're supposed to add something new and fresh in every bracha. And in the middle brachot of the Amidah, you're supposed to add something to the, you'll add to it Rafa'enu and add to Baruch Aleinu and Atachoni. Supposed to add something to the bracha. But he says now, but in this particular case, because now, since there is a special reason why I'm saying this Amidah, because I'm not sure if I need to make up the mincha or I don't need to make up the mincha. So I make the Tanai, I make a condition. I say, if I'm obligated to pray, to say the second Amidah as a makeup for the mincha, because I didn't mention Yalav Yavo, so then this will be my obligation, my tefillah that my makeup for mincha. If I don't need to make up the mincha because it's too late, it's too gone, and I'm not gaining anything because I'm not mentioning Ya'aleh V'yavo in the second Amidah because it's no longer Rosh Chodesh. So then I want this tefillah to be a gift. A gift. And nedava, I'm giving this as an extra tefillah. And I have a right to do that. And in this case, we don't. Right. If Ya'aleh V'yavo was Rosh Chodesh, and now it's after Rosh. Now it's after Rosh Chodesh. What do I do? But do I make? Do I need to? You have a good day. You can say that Amidah twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. 10 times you can say it. 10 times a day you're going to say it. But each it's not a bracha. But each time you need. But each time you need to go ahead and add something to the middle of the brachot. But you know what Tosfos says? But the Shulchan Aruch. That means right. You have a right to go ahead. This morning at 11 o'clock, you want to give another tefillah. You want to pray another prayer. Beautiful, pray another prayer. But you have to add something. It has to be something unique that you're giving it. But you should know. But Rabbi, I never heard anybody doing that. Why not? Because the reason is that it's hard for people to have proper kavanah. It's hard enough people to have kavanah 3 times a day by shachrit midchan arvit. You're going to tell them to go ahead and do more. People have difficulty doing that. So what does the Shulchan Aruch say? The Shulchan Aruch says like this: if a person wants to pray a tefillah nedava, you want to go ahead and you want to be this type of person. You want to pray many times, like Morris is looking forward to praying. Maybe some people are, they're not on that level or whatever. They don't have a sefer in front of them, or they have a special situation in life that they want to pray. So he says you need to know. The Shulchan Aruch says need to know that you're a type of person that's able to have kavanah in your prayers from the beginning to the end. But if you're not, listen to this language. You're all going to appreciate the language of Morona Mechaber. But if you're not that person that's able to say that you're confident you're going to have kavanah from the beginning to the end, then there's a pasuk that Hashem says, I don't want you to do that. God does not want you just to do extra when your mind is not in it. Halavai, here's the language. It would be great if a person could have kavanah in the 3 set tefillot that you have to do every day. Say halavai, Ariel, that everybody will have. You hear that? Halavai, that everybody would have kavanah in the three tefillot that you have to pray every day. So let's focus on those tefillot. I don't think there's too many people that say that they're on the level that they're confident that they'll make extra tefillot and they'll have kavanah from the beginning to the end. Maybe you are. I don't know. I can't tell you that some people are on that level. So that's Gemara. But again, that will be the answer. If a person forgot Ya'aleh V'yavo by Mincha Rosh Chodesh, he makes it up by Arvit, the second Amidah, but he makes this tonight. And in that case, he will not need to add anything new to the middle brachot. It's just good enough that he makes this condition. If I'm obligated in it, then it should be for the makeup. If I'm not obligated in it, then it should be a what? A gift. The law is, let's not forget Ya'aleh V'yavo by Mincha. But if you forget it and you're still at mincha time, it's still mincha time. It's not arvit time. Repeat the amidah. 1 second. Right? It's still mincha. You just finished amidah. Oh, I forgot Ya'aleh V'yavo. But it's arvit time. If it's Rosh Chodesh, if the arvit, if it's still not Rosh Chodesh anymore, so the second amidah is you make a tonight. You make a condition. You're supposed to do. You have that in mind. You say if I'm obligated, I want to be because I need to make it up. This is the makeup. If I don't need to make it up, then this is a gift. Yes. What's your first name again? Ariel? Avra.
Wake up past time shopping. I had a long night last night.
What time is it?
Let's say
Right. So 11 o'clock is still the morning time. So we have to see, if a person, it's before Chatzot. It's before Chatzot. He prays. He still prays the regular. He'll pray the morning prayer. of Seder morning
What if
prayer.
you wake up later?
But if you wake up after Chatzot, afternoon, then what you would do is when you pray Mincha, the second Amidah, you would do an extra Amidah. You won't say all the other things that you say by Shachrit. Of course, you'll still say the Berachos till Yadayim. You'll say Birkat HaTorah. You'll say Birkat HaShachar. You say Birkat HaShachar the whole day, Birkat HaTorah. But you will not say the other stuff in the Baruch Shema and Yishtabach. You'll say Mincha Ashrei. You'll say the Amidah, and then you'll say after you said the Amidah Mincha, you wait a few seconds and you go back forward and you do a second Amidah as a makeup.
Twice.
You do the
Mincha twice.
You do this. You do the Mincha Amidah twice. The first Amidah is for Mincha, and the second Amidah is the makeup for Shachrit. Okay. Let's see. Let's continue in the Gemara. Itma. We are. No, we said the halacha for what, Rosh Chodesh? Yeah, we said for Rosh Chodesh you should make. If a guy forgot Yalav by Mincha of Rosh Chodesh, comes after and that night, the night is not Rosh Chodesh anymore. Then you would repeat the second Amidah with a t'nai, with a condition. That's what you do. Make a condition. Have in mind, if I'm obligated, if I'm supposed to make it up because then I want this to be the makeup. If I'm not supposed to make it up because it's too late and I'm not gaining anything from making up because it's no longer Rosh Chodesh and I already prayed the other Amidah that I made by Mincha, then it should be a gift. No, you never. It's no longer Rosh Chodesh. You won't say Yalav Yavo. But you always say wherever you're up to now, that's the midah that you say. If now it's all in Rosh Chodesh, you do two of the exact same thing. Morning, Sammy. Mike is saying, Mike is waiting to say hello to you. Sammy.
Where is he?
Mike, Sammy wants to say hello to you.
Mike, are you driving?
היי, סוסו, מה קורה? סמי בורקס.
מי זה, יוסי?
Sammy, how are you, Sammy?
איפה אתה?
Good morning,
בבית-סוהר?
Sammy.
No.
Sammy,
in
I'm
jail,
driving.
Rob?
You didn't give me a private jet yet, so I'm still driving.
Soon. Are you driving or somebody's driving you?
God is driving him. God is in the driver's seat.
I can't tell if you're in a Ferrari or a Tesla over there.
He's coming for the ride, you know? Okay. Let's continue in the Gemara. But God gives us the keys to drive, by the way. He gives us the opportunity to drive, and he wants us to stay on the road, to do the right things. He doesn't want us to get off the road, do the wrong things. Very good. Very good. Itma. Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina Amar. You have the Gemara. Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina, we're about 10 lines from the top. Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina Amar. Everyone has it? Line about line 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, about 12. First one of the line is Yossi. Chafvav on the base. Right over here on the other side. Chanina. Who instituted prayer? Who instituted prayer? So the Gemara says Itma. Rabbi Yosef Chanina Tfila Avot Tiknum. It was instituted by Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. What does that mean? It doesn't mean, the Maharsha says, it doesn't mean they instituted the exact text that we have, because the text of the Tfilah that we have was instituted by the Anshe Knesset HaGdolah, the men of the Great Assembly, by the time period, after the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. What do you say? Right. But the responsibility to pray 3 times a day, not the exact text that we have, but the responsibility to pray 3 times a day. So this opinion says it was instituted by Avraham, instituted Shachrit, Yitzchak Mincha, and Yaakov Arvit. It's interesting that each of the Avot instituted something else. They added something, and that's what life's about. You want to build on your father, your grandfather. But he did a certain amount of. You try to build on their greatness, so to speak. And they felt that, and each one felt that the world most probably needs something more. You too, Sammy. So therefore, Avraham instituted Tikkun Tefillah Shachrit. Now again, and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says no. Tefillot keneged temidim tiknu. They were the Anshe Knesset HaGdolah instituted not because the Avot instituted it, because the Korbanot, because there was the Korban in the morning, which is the Tamid Shel Shachar, is the Korban in the afternoon, the Shel Ben Abayim, and then at night, any Korban that did not fully finish being consumed on the Mizbeach, the fats and the limbs were consumed on the Mizbeach at night. And the Anshe Knesset Gdola said that we're going to institute prayer, and we don't have they did it at a time. They didn't have the Beit HaMikdash, so they wanted that the prayer that should be as if you brought the korban. There's a power when we speak, when we pray, Hashem accepts it as if we brought the korban, and therefore they corresponded the time that we should pray to the times of the day that they were involved in the korban. Now, do they argue about what about the fact that the Avot prayed? They might say that the Avot never instituted that we as an obligation for all the generations. They prayed. Avram prayed at the Shachrit, Yitzchak Mincha, Yaakov Arvit, but doesn't mean that it was institutionalized as a responsibility and an obligation for the takana that generations have to do it. That's what they did. Perhaps that's how he could understand this machloket. So the Gemara says, Tanya Kavotei de Rabbi Yosef Chanina, but Tanya Kavotei de Rabbi Shmuel Levi. We have two different. We have a Breita. Breita is an early teaching, and we have a Breita. If you want, there's another Gemara over there. You want? Okay. We have a Breita, which is earlier rabbis that support each opinion. So these are later rabbis. These are Amoraim, and each one has a support from a Breita that's in sync with their opinion. So if you have one Breita going like one rabbi and not the other one, so that would be a very strong question on the rabbi. But now that I have a Breita, each one has a good source for them. So now the Gemara is going to show the opinions, the sources. We have a Breita that learned like Rabbi Yosef Chanina. What does it say? Avraham tikein tefillah shachrit. Avram instituted praying in the morning. Shenema, where do we find the Torah? It's alluded to in the Torah. Shenema vayashkem Avram aboker. Avram got up early in the morning. Ela makom asher omat sham, to the place that he previously stood. Ve'ein amidah ela tefillah. We know amidah is tefillah. When you want to refer to, even today, the Sfardim call Shmona Esrei amidah, because you stand by the Shemona Esrei, so therefore they call it Amidah. What does Amidah mean? To stand, because you need to stand to say the Amidah. The Ein Amidah Ela Tefillah, we find that Amidah refers to prayer. Shenema vayamod Pinchas vayipalel. Pinchas got up, he stood, and he prayed. So we see standing is connected with prayer. Yitzchak, good morning, Avi. Yitzchak Tikein Tfilat Mincha. Yitzchak instituted the praying of Mincha. Shenema, Vayetze Yitzchak Lasoch Basodeh Lifnot Erev. He went out to speak. Who was he speaking to? He was speaking to God. Like a Sicha is having a conversation. He was talking to God. Ve'ein Sicha Ela Tfilah. Sicha is Tfilah. He was praying. Shenema, as the pasuk says, Tfilah la'ani ki atov lefnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. In front of Hashem, he pours out his speech. So sicha is referring to his conversation, and he's talking about tefillah. He's praying. So we see that sicha is prayer. And so Yitzchak went out l'soch basadeh. Yitzchak, why was he going out to pray over there? And the Torah emphasizes that because this is what he did on a regular basis. He instituted that. And Yaakov, Tikein Tfilat Arvit, Yaakov instituted praying at night. Shenema vayifka b'makom, vayalan sham. So what does it mean? He met the place. What does he met? So ve'ein pikia l'tfilah. So the Gemara says, we know pikia means it's like an entreaty. He asked, he prayed. Shenema va'ata. In Yirmiyah it says, Al tispalel ba'al adam ad hamazeh. Don't pray regarding these people Ve'al tisa ba'adam rino tefillah. Don't raise for them and honor their honor, praise and tefillah. Al tifkabi. So we see tifkabi is referring to prayer. The context that is referred to is praying. So we see that from all these three places that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Shachrit, Mincha, and Arvit. Now, why is Mincha called Mincha? Shachrit means Shachar. It's the Amura Shachar. It's the morning. It's referring to it's the morning time, and Arvit means the evening. In the evening, it's the Erev. What's the name Mincha? So why is it called Menucha? So why if it's Mincha for Menucha? What'd you say? Interesting. Okay, but we're referring to the okay. Maybe that's such an idea. Okay, interesting. Okay, but a lot of people don't rest during the day. In Israel, they give some in Europe, maybe they take a rest during the day. But I once heard from Rav David Feinstein, I think, that Mincha is called a gift. Mincha is a gift. Mincha le'esav achi. Mincha is a gift. And the hardest prayer of the day is Mincha, because it's smack in the middle of the day. And especially in the winter time, where the window for Mincha is very short. So therefore, it's called like as if you're giving something, doing something very special. It's a gift. That's why it's called Mincha. That's one reason why it's called Mincha. Now the Gemara says, Tanya Kavotei Rabbi Shmuel Levi. We learned like Rabbi Shmuel Levi. Ve'ma Omru Tfilas HaShachar Ad Chatzot. Why did they say that Shachrit is until Chatzot? Why did they say Shachrit is until midday? Meaning that's one opinion in the Gemara. Shaharei Tamid Shel Shachar Korei V'holech Ad Chatzot. Because the Tamid Shel Shachar, the Tamid in the morning, according to this opinion, was brought until Chatzot. See, since they brought the Korban until noon, the morning Korban until noon, according to this opinion, so therefore you have Shachrit that you pray in the morning, also you have until noon. Rabbi Yehuda says no. You only can pray Shachrit at Arba Sha'ot, which we spoke about the other day, that we have to be careful to pray before 4 hours into the day. But we said if you still didn't pray by 4 hours a day, you still pray that. I mean, you still will pray the Shachrit. But why does he say 4 hours into the day? Because, meaning, like we said, you'll have until Chatzot to pray to count it as Shachrit. And if past Chatzot, you already will be counted as if they have to make it up. So the Tamid of the morning was brought, according to Rabbi Yehuda, up to 4 hours into the day. And therefore, since the tefillah is corresponding to the korban, so you have to pray at the time of the korban. So if you hold the korban was brought until midday, you can pray until midday. If you hold the korban was brought until 4 hours, you pray until Shachrit until 4 hours. Now, Rabbi Yehuda says, now, Nema Omru Tfilas Mincha Erev. Why is Mincha until Erev? Why does Mincha go until the evening? Right? Because the afternoon korban, the korban in the afternoon was brought until evening. According to the Rabbanan, since they brought the korban until the evening, so therefore you had the whole afternoon from Chatzot, maybe half hour after Chatzot, until evening. They brought the korban, the afternoon korban. So if they brought the korban the whole afternoon till evening, so therefore you have the whole afternoon till evening to pray mincha, just like the korban mincha was brought the whole afternoon until evening. That's why we have such a long window for mincha, because mincha, the window that we have to pray mincha, let's say today, from around 12:30 or so till for something, it's not a long window because it's a winter, but in the summer it's like from 1:30. It could be from 1:30 to 8 because they had the whole afternoon. Morris, thank you very much. I forgot to ask you to take the.
No, you can.
Yeah. Oh, very good. But the other way we could send it, we could send the link, right? Very good. So So that's why that opinion says you have it till evening. But there's another opinion that says you don't have such a long window for mincha. You have to say mincha by plaga mincha. Rabbi Yehuda, and we'll end with that, or do just maybe a few. Plaga mincha. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, or do a couple more lines. Plaga mincha. We're going to see in the Gemara. Plaga mincha is 10 hours and 45 minutes into the day. It means an hour and a quarter before sunset, you already have to stop. You can't pray mincha. We'll explain more as we'll see tomorrow more about that. It means you have a shorter window, plaga mincha. And why is arvit? You have the whole night for arvit. Technically, you could do that midah the whole night. The guy woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. He didn't pray arvit yet. He could still pray the whole night. Of course, he should have said the Shema before Chatzot. But if he didn't, he'll say the whole thing at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because the fats, the limbs and the fats, that weren't consumed be'erev, that weren't consumed early in the day, they were brought the whole night. Since they were brought the whole night, and that nobody argues about that. So that's why it's universal. There's no argument about what time you have to pray arvit. What's the window of arvit? You have the whole night. Not that you should pray earlier, and you always should do the mitzvah earlier. If you're not supposed to delay a mitzvah. You're not saying, Rabbi, I have the whole night. I can pray 2 o'clock in the morning. No, you're delaying a mitzvah. There's a concept called zvizim maktibel mitzvah. When you have opportunity to do a mitzvah, you do that mitzvah right away. You don't delay 2 o'clock in the morning. And the same thing is if a person's at night. If you go into a minyan, so you pray anytime to go into that arvit minyan. But if you have no minyan of arvit that you go into at night, once it's dark, you should do the mitzvah right away. Because you're not going to a minyan at 9 o'clock. If there's no minyan to go to, you're not supposed to delay it till later in the evening. You have a mitzvah. Why are you delaying a mitzvah? Zvizim makdimim mitzvah. Like, the holiday of Pesach is coming. Shmartem mitzvah matzot. Atikim matzot ela mitzvot. What's the mitzvah? You have a mitzvah between you do it right away. You don't delay. People make that mistake. I'll pray later. What are you praying later? You have a mitzvah now. And really, there are laws about you can't have bread. If you didn't have an arvit and you don't plan on going to a minyan later, you can't have bread before you pray. So now, and the Gemara says, we have 2 opinions for musaf. One opinion says you can do musaf all the way until sunset, and the other opinion says you have to do musaf by 7 hours into the day. If the day would be a 6 a.m., 6 p.m. day, 7 hours. So we spoke about it. So we spoke about this day. There's 2 ways to calculate day. Is it from sunrise to sunset, or from Amunashach, or from dawn, which is like around 72 minutes before sunrise, where already there's the first rays of light in the east. From then till dark, how do you calculate the day? So when you say you have 7 hours of the day to say musaf, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is it from sunrise 7 hours or from before sunrise 7 hours? So so that's the question. How to calculate? Same thing we spoke about Kriyat Shema. If you have a 3-hour window, how do you calculate the 3 hours? But also, you start from sunrise, or you start from dawn. But we said you have to split the day. So we try to say it when it comes to Daraita. The Yalkut Yosef says, let's say Kriyat Shema is Daraita. So you try to be strict to go by the early opinion. Yeah. And therefore, but again, we spoke about how do you calculate the day, because there is an hour, you have to divide the day into 12 parts, and that makes up an hour. So therefore, let's say today, let's say if you calculate, the more lenient opinion is sunrise to sunset. So sunrise to sunset today is about, maybe it's 10 hours? How many, let's say, we'll say 7 something till 440 or 445. Let's say we'll round it off a 10-hour day. You have to divide into 12 parts. Let's say around 50 minutes each part. And then 3 hours would be 3 times 50. It's not technically right. Right. Parts, right. That's how you calculate down. And then the last thing the Gemara says, again, if you don't so the machloket is, when did they bring the korban musaf? Did they have the whole afternoon to bring the korban musaf? If that's the case, then you have the whole afternoon to pray musaf, which that's what we do. If a person didn't pray, but you're supposed to really pray musaf before 7 hours into the day. Because the other opinion of Yehuda that says, and we'll take out the Shulchan Aruch a different time. Yehuda says you're supposed to pray Musaf. You can't, according to Yehuda, you can't pray Musaf after 7 hours. You lost it. The Chum says you can keep on praying. Because he says the Musaf prayer is corresponding to the Korban Musaf. The Korban Musaf was brought by up to 7 hours into the day. Therefore, you can't say it after 7 hours. We went a little late, everybody. Have a great day, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you, Ariel, for joining.
Thank you,
Rabbi,
Rabbi.
thank you.
Thank you.
Abraham,
Have a great
thank
day.
you. Have a great
Bye-bye,
day,
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Akiva, everybody, have a great day.
Rabbi,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rabbi,
Yes.
can I maybe take it off the line and I want to tell you something.
Yes, I'm going to call you up right now, Yosef.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. Nice to say hello to your kids. Good to see everybody. Have a good, boys. Very good. How are you? You doing good?
Ask how are you?
How you doing?
Good.
It's a good.
Very good.
Good.
Do you study with your daddy? Do you study Torah with your daddy?
He asked if you study with me.
Yeah.
That's great.
We
You're very
always
lucky.
play every day.
You pray every day? Great. That's great. Now also you got to remember to say brachot on the food, right? You eat the
Yeah.
food, you got to say nice brachot, right? If we have a drink, you have
He said
cereal,
you have to
whatever
do
you,
a blessing on the food and the drinks you
a
eat.
nice blessing, right? A nice blessing, right?
No, I don't, Rabbi.
What
My
do you
dad
say?
always reminds me.
The
Wait.
other child that says nice brachot?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to see you. Have a great day. Have a great day. Yosef,
Thank
I'll
you,
call you
Rabbi.
right now, Yosef.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.